3 tech stories, 2 actually happened, 1 is completely made up. The catch? They're all written the same way. So you can't just go by how it sounds. You have to go by how it feels. Let's go. My name is Julianne Duffy. Oops. Sorry, Michael. There you go. Try it again.
I'm Michael Duffy. Hello.
Perfect.
As we go through each story, think about 2 things, real or fake, and who's actually in the wrong here. No right answers, just gut reactions. Let's get into it. If you're new, subscribe now. 2 real, 2 truths and a lie.
Perfect. So I'm just gonna jump in that. I'm gonna make a check. Oh, excited. Perfect. We've got some excited. Hello, Mind Mystique. Thank you for joining us. Drop a message and let us know where you're from. Where are you watching us from? Let us know where you are watching from. So if you're watching after the fact, drop it in the comments. And if you're watching us now, love to know where you're watching us from in this big, beautiful planet. But let's get started. The first story we have tonight, let me bring up the screen for that. Are you excited about the shows tonight, Mike?
Yes, because you told me you were going to stump me.
I'm going to do my best. So our first story tonight, the voice that wasn't him. So here's the situation. My grandmother called me crying. She had wired $9,000 to a bail bondsman that morning. She said she'd gotten a call from my cousin. She heard his voice, recognized it immediately. He said he'd been in a car accident, that someone had been hurt, that he needed bail money before his phone call ran out. She didn't hesitate. She wired the money before she even tried to call anyone else in the family. My cousin was fine. He'd been at work all day. He never called her. He didn't even know it happened until we told him. When we listened to the voicemail she'd saved, it was unsettling how close it was. Same cadence, same rhythm, same the way he trails off at the end of his sentences. The kind of thing you'd only notice if you knew him really well. And even then, you might not actually notice that. The FBI told us his voice had been likely cloned from videos he publicly posted for birthdays, a graduation speech, a few Instagram reels, enough to build something convincing. My grandmother kept saying, "I know my own family." And she did. She just didn't know that technology can do what technology can do now. She's never going to get that money back. My cousin, who didn't even do anything wrong, can't watch his own videos anymore without wondering what what somebody's building with them, right? And so am I the asshole for not warning her sooner? We knew these scams existed. We just never thought it would sound that real.
Did you believe it when you first heard it?
Did you believe it when you first heard it? But the voicemail? I don't know. I never heard the voicemail.
Okay. Could you tell if it was AI?
Well, obviously she couldn't, right? Because
I don't know. You know, I've had clients tell me stuff like this. So it's
well, the technology, it does exist. So that definitely, like, the technology exists. I myself have heard stories like this. I don't know if I've heard this one per se, but I have heard stories of, people being convinced it was somebody that they weren't talking to, right?
I've had clients say they get calls like this, right? Not obviously, I don't know if I've encountered to the situation in this story, but I've been with customers and they tell me they get calls and then it's like they don't ever get this far. So
Well, if you think about it, because now we're putting so much content out, I guess that would be my question now is like, how easy it would be. And then I guess my comment is like, is this just validate why you don't answer your phone? You don't, and even if they leave a voicemail, do you need to like, does it come into the responsibility that you must go call that person directly, make sure that they're really not answering their phone, or, like taking that step before you rush off to send money? Like, at what point, how do we protect ourselves from something like that?
Well, you do remember the one client, well, the one not a client, somebody I know who got Facebook hacked, and the only real way that's possible is that their screen, their video would have been recorded on like a Zoom call, and then that hacking stuff took after that happened, and I'm just like, that's really the only way that could have happened.
So it's more so that there would have been a call he was probably on that got recorded. Is that what you're saying?
His voice got recorded and his face got recorded, and they were able to trick Facebook at that point with that data.
That's true. That's true. So it makes you wonder what they can peel from videos and stuff like that, right? So it's interesting. It's like, okay, well, yeah, if she knew these scams, like we said, like she knew these scams were all going around. But is she the asshole for not informing her grandma about this? I'm gonna say, no, because you don't know how realistic they are till you probably have this situation, right? Like, you think, "Oh, yeah, how can you fall for it?" until you really have it. But now, I guess, would we be the asshole if this happened to us by not doing something to be proactive in those situations, right? Like, have, like, some kind of phrase that has to be said by the family that was I think that's what people suggested. Um, having, like I'm saying, like, having a process of where you legitimately call that person back yourself, or you call, a police station and make sure that person's actually there. That whatever that scenario is, because there's been different ones of these type of calls, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. So
So what's your verdict on it? Is she an asshole or not?
I w- I feel like I would be an asshole for not warning them sooner if I knew that it was possible and that they would.
Well, I guess it means we gotta go get on
Just
top of
because
your
it's my profession. I've
Yeah.
heard of, and it's like, should I do a better job communicating these things happen to my clients? But then, people unsubscribe to my emails, the more emails I send out to them. So I warning people about scams and stuff like that. I've heard about them all. I don't likely do enough preventative warning of people, but I'm really just leaving that there. I feel bad.
You feel so you're not making a
Yeah,
call.
I would feel like I'm the asshole for not warning her sooner. So,
You feel bad that you didn't warn her sooner so she could warn her grandma, and more about that, it is way, way worse than you think it is, right? Like, that's it. Well, the verdict, it was obviously she was not the asshole. Your grandmother did everything a loving person would do. The technology is the villain here, and that is true. Like, this technology is kind of the problem that we have access to that. There was some pushback though, that having we need to have this uncomfortable conversation about why don't they have a safe word for these type I said, right? Having some kind of, it doesn't guarantee anything, however, just having something that you've discussed just for in case to hopefully do a preventative measure, right? And then there was a few that this is going to happen to millions of people. It's already happening. We just don't talk about it,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that was the first story, and I feel bad for them as well because, like it's preying on the naivety of people, right?
100%. But that's every scam online. So, we know they're just everywhere. So,
Exactly, exactly. Okay, let's go right into the second story here. Okay. What my watch told them. Okay, so here we are. So again, we're two truths and a lie. So story number 2, and it's up to you to determine which one is a lie. So keep it in mind. We did the first one, which is the grandma getting the scam call and sending money away. Now we're on story 2 here of your watch told on you. So the next one. I feel sick even writing this. About 3 years ago, my employer rolled out a wellness program. The pitch was simple: link your Apple Watch or Fitbit, hit your daily activity goals, and get a discount on your health insurance premium. I signed up without thinking much about it. Free discount, easy steps, done. I forgot about it immediately. Uh, Last month, I went to renew my health insurance, and my premium had gone up significantly. When I asked why, I was told my lifestyle risk profile had been reassessed. I asked what that meant. So essentially, the representative explained that through the wellness integration I had agreed to, my insurance provider had access to my biometric data over the previous 2 years: sleep patterns, rest heart rate, scores, stress indicators. She read from the file irregular sleep patterns and sustained elevated resting heart rate over the last 26-month period, indicating increased risk. That was a period I was going through my divorce. I wasn't healthy, I wasn't heartbroken, I was grieving. I was barely sleeping because my life was falling apart, not because there was anything wrong with my heart. I tried to dispute it. I went to I missed the line here that it said, there was nothing wrong with my heart, as I had recently had a full medical. So I don't know why like that didn't matter, but they tried to dispute it. I was told the data was valid because they obviously agreed to that, and the assessment was within the terms they had agreed to. So I went back and found the original wellness enrollment form. Buried in page 9 of the terms and conditions was a clause about longitude health data being used to inform premium calculations. So page 9, I signed up for the step counter discount. I didn't sign up for 2 years of surveillance. So am I the asshole for not reading the terms and conditions? Or does page 9 not count when they know nobody's read that far?
That old end user license agreement.
Yeah.
That.
Who even reads the fine details? They just sink some because you just want to get over with it. You're getting these perks. You're like, sure. I don't know if you'd read till page 9.
So am I the asshole for not reading the terms? Kind of.
I think so.
This is the whole thing with insurance, and this is why people love it or hate it, because of page 9. Right? Because you're like, oh, this is great, blah, 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 blah. And then,
Well, and it's like, and that's exactly, it's a scam, right? Like, are you making it to page 9? So even if you have the due diligence and you're like, I'm going to read the document, how many people even make it to page 9, let alone understand everything you're even reading, right?
Yeah.
And you might have, and even if they would have read it in fairness, does that even mean they would have understood what they were reading?
We got tons of experience with this. Remember, like, having to read condo docs? And if you
Oh,
didn't know what was
God.
going on, you'd be fully unaware of the history of that piece of real estate. So
Exactly. I'm gonna ask everybody here, what do you think? Are they the a-hole? Let us know. What do you think? Story 2. Is she the asshole? I'm gonna say let's just jump to the verdict. Like, it was a soft, she is the asshole. Like, it was pretty much same thing we said. You agreed to it. We have to start reading what we sign. That's the uncomfortable truth, was a sentiment. There was some people that said, not the asshole, it should be illegal, which does bring up they're burying the data sharing terms on page 9 of the wellness enrollment form. It's designed to trap people. It isn't informed consent, because if it was, I feel like this would be page 1 if it was truly informed consent, right?
yeah, exactly. Especially when it's yeah,
It was page 9 of the agreement.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
it's just like anything. And any fitness tracker. That's what I was looking for. I was like, what? Okay, fitness tracker.
Yeah, that's what you got with this incentive with her
That's like those people
business,
who think
right?
they can get that's like people getting car insurance when they can sign up for a discounted rate, but they have to put a tracker in their vehicle, and I'm like,
Exactly. You're getting a discount, but now they're gonna know
Right,
exactly
you usually think
how
you
you
have nothing to
drive.
hide until you
And or
find out.
whoever's driving your vehicle, they're gonna know, and then they're gonna rate your premiums on it. Exactly, right? A lot there was a note, I missed it because on the second page, but the real villain is the system that lets insurance companies access biometrics at all. This woman's divorce cost her money she'll never get back, right? So you have like this stressful situation that goes on for a period of time, and just like, and it's also like, it's an interesting thing 'cause it also makes me think about like how technology, or we just have the wrong readings, right? How that can happen, how it's just out of context for that reading, right? And so there you go. There's story number 2. So keep that in mind, everybody. Again, lock it down. Your watch told on you. Is it a truth? So we did the grandma sent the money, got scammed. Is that true? Your watch told on you. Is that true? And again, we've seen many examples of this type of stuff that has happened. And I know a lot of examples I've come across of where it's in the fine print and you didn't know. And then, you somehow accidentally ratted yourself out and got your insurance more expensive.
100%.
Okay, let's go into story number 3 for tonight. Grab a little thing here, and it sent the fight to his sister. We heard everything. Last one. My husband and I had an argument. Not a big one, just one of those conversations that starts about logistics and ends up being about something completely different entirely. The kind where you both say a few things you don't completely mean. We were in the kitchen. Our smart speaker was on the counter. A few hours later, I got a notification from our shared home app that I'd never seen before, and it said a message had been sent from our device to a contact in my phone book. A contact named Donna, who was my husband's sister. I opened the sent message and it was a 47-second audio clip. The clip was the end of our argument, clear audio, both of us. The part where I said I wasn't sure things were working anymore. Amazon confirmed to us that the device had misinterpreted a phrase during the argument as a trigger word, recorded what followed, and then through a misfire in the share feature, sent it to the most recently contacted person in the contacted account. So Donna had already listened to it. She called my husband before I even had a chance to tell him what had happened. We're working through it, all of it, the argument, the message, the conversation with his sister. But I keep coming back to the same thing. We were in our house. We thought we were alone. So am I the asshole for not unplugging it sooner? Or does trusting your own home make you naive now?
Do you have a smart speaker in your home?
Not I. No, because I believe we've had this conversation recently where I'm like, our phones already are spying on us. I've never purposely brought more spy devices into my house.
Nope, I'm not using smart speakers precisely for this reason. So these are 3 good ones. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where you are a little bit of the asshole for sure, and that you're not naive enough to think, like, what is that trigger word? Who's actually listening? What trigger word did it misinterpret? Because you would think it should hear its name, right? Isn't that what's supposed to turn it on? I believe. Maybe I'm wrong about that. You can let me know in the comments what you guys think. Um, but it makes me wonder what that was and what it was listening for that it misinterpreted, right? And again, it's this whole weird thing of like how much we're giving to AI and these like non-humanoid devices to make decisions, right? So whether we have it listening to make a decision to listen to our conversation, right? Or whether it is, the body, on the watch and listening to your Fitbit thing, right? And giving it that it's interpreted by somebody on another end, right? I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, it's not that it's an Amazon device, so I would just have to misinterpret the word Alexa. That's probably really easy to do, especially if you're using certain words in an argument. So technology fails, but this one is it's like the watch where it's just like you don't know what that stuff's gonna do or send messages is gonna you have no idea because that stuff's you know, just technology you're using day to day, and unless you like who's gonna remember to unplug their Alexa device before they start screaming at their spouse? Like
Well, and that's you actually bring up one of the questions that I had brought up as a prompt was like, is the marriage the real story here, or is it the technology, right? Like, is the real or is it really like, why are you
well,
guys so unhappy, right? And then I'm like, well, yeah, there's always that reflection.
you know, technology is just getting triggered, and they're sending your health
It
information to
wanted
you.
to, that Siri was just done with that argument. It was like, you know what? We got to break the loop of this argument with these people. So I'm just gonna send
Alexa.
this message. Oh, it's Alexa.
It
Sorry,
was an
Alexa.
Amazon device. That's why one of the
Sorry.
prompts is Amazon sent a $25 credit. What does that tell you? They paid for that conversation because they think it's
They did. They're like, "Oh, sorry. Here's our fee for stealing your
pure.
conversation." Like, but it does make you. It is fun. It is kind of funny, but it isn't in that. It's always listening. You don't know what's gonna trigger it. And then who is it gonna send to? And maybe it is getting consciousness, and it's like, nope. Gotta end this conversation, and then we're gonna get his sister to call and just shut these two up.
Nice.
So I guess on this, what is your verdict? Are they the assholes? What is your opinion? And yes, Mind Mystic, it is a trap. I completely agree.
Uh, It you know they're they know what they're like literally they know they got that thing listening to all their conversations because it is you literally buy it to listen to your conversations and to then turn your lights on and off and add to your Amazon shopping list. So I know it's easy to forget about that stuff, but I'm
So are
not
you saying
surprised.
that they are the asshole softly?
Soft asshole just because the technology failed them, but they're the ones using it to make
They
their
brought
life
it into their house. Exactly. I agree.
exactly.
I'm not gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna say they are soft. That was it was kind of a tie between soft and mostly nah, but it was a soft you are the asshole because whoever decided to share audio should be on the feature at all, right? So who even thinks that that should be on there? So a little bit of the tech part, but you did bring it in. Um, this is the one that keeps me from having a smart speaker in my bedroom. This exact scenario was somebody's comment from that. And then it
Yeah.
was but however, there was a lot of nays, mostly nah. No one did anything wrong here. The technology failed. It did, however, you did introduce the technology into your house. So you chose to, because as soon as we bring it in and use it, we're already putting ourselves at risk that it's not going to work properly.
100%. Like, and as we say, technology is never like the human's usually more of the problem than the technology because you just forget what you're using or don't know how to use it right or don't remember page 9. Right? So,
Exactly. Don't remember page 9. Okay, so on that, we've gone over our 3 stories, our 3 I am the asshole. So I'll just quickly show everybody so you can remember which ones we did today. So the first one here is she wired 9,000 to her grandson's voice. So grandma getting scammed by a fake phone call where it mimicked and sounded like her son, right? Because it was his uncle or cousin, or maybe it was her grandson. The next story, again, just to remind you, was your watch told on you. So it reported her not sleeping well, going through the stresses that she did through her divorce, and then caused her to have more expensive insurance. And then what we just covered, the last one here with it sent the fight to his sister of the Amazon device listening and texting or sorry, emailing their conversation to their sister, her sister-in-law. So Mike, are you guys ready? Lock it in, put it in. Okay, we got some guesses here. Our one guess we've got is number 3 from Mind Mystic. That's an awesome guess. Any guesses? What is your guess, Mike?
which one's fake? The lie? Which one's the lie?
Which one's the lie? 3 stories, one is completely made up.
I was gonna go 2.
You're going with 2? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, got it locked in. Anybody else put it in there? Or if you're watching after, put it in the comments. And I'll get a little drum roll, please. Are you ready? Let's hear your drum roller, Mike. That's your job. And you are right. The second story was fake. Your watch told on you. So good guess, my mystic. And Mike, you were right. Why? What gave it away for you?
Because number 3 was already picked. But then I'm like,
Okay,
was
yours
it
already
re-
fixed.
but then I was
comment.
like, but then I was like, was it really a page 9? Because that just seems like, number 1, you know the story, like it's a story, so you're like, it'll likely happened. Third one, what I'm like, number 2 was like just it was like the page 9 thing was like there's just something with
That
it.
was
I
the
don't know.
page 9. Page 9. Okay,
I
I'll work on
agree
one
that there
more.
should be a page 9, but that just seemed to give it away. Anyway.
Well, that you're right. It was the second one, which was about the biometrics. However, it is a good warning of caution because we've seen things like that about knowing the fine print. And this is a good time of where you could get AI to even summarize it up. But sometimes you have to ask specific questions to have it find things. So whether it helps or not is questionable. But I did tell you I had come across, after I planned this, an update on one of these stories. Just randomly as I was going across after I made this story, I was like, this is totally the story. I just prepped for it. So I wanted to give you guys an update because I thought it was the best update for the story here. And that is for the grandma. So this is a follow-up to the she wired 9,000 to her grandson's voice. So the follow-up story I came across. After scammers targeted his grandma, he got revenge by building an AI network of thousands of fake old people. The system traps scammers on the phone, wasting hours of their time.
It's that guy. He's
It
famous
is.
on YouTube.
And I was like, oh my God, after your grandma got scammed. So maybe it's not quite the exact story, but I'm going to say it probably was since this is
I
the
just
story I
saw his
came
picture and I was like, okay.
And I thought that was wonderful. I was like, yeah. And it's funny because when you start going down the details of it, I'll bring them up. I'll read them off off my other screen because it's actually really hilarious what they did. So I have to share it because I do think it is so funny. Where did the screen go that I can actually read here? Just give me a momento as I close extra windows and find. There we go. Okay. So Kitboga, is that how you say the name Kitboga? A popular content creator and tech expert had a deeply personal reason to hate phone scammers. After his own grandmother was targeted and victimized by a heartless scammer, he decided to turn his anger into an ingenious high-tech crusade. His goal wasn't just to expose them, it was to waste as much of their time as possible. At first, he used voice changers to personally call an illicit call and to personally call the illicit call centers back, pretending to be confused, incredibly wealthy old woman. He would keep the scammers on the phone for literally hours, rambling about his cats, pretending to drive to the bank, and completely failing to use his computer so that they couldn't spend the time stealing from real victims. So his point was really just to keep them distracted, right? But he was only one person, and there are thousands of scammers. So he developed a highly sophisticated AI network, the system designed to act like a vulnerable human target, complete with AI sound modulator that can create thousands of unique, realistic personas. When scammers call numbers connected to his network, they think they're speaking to a confused elderly person or a non-tech savvy victim. The AI's entire purpose is to trap the scammer on for as long as possible. So that's the goal, is trap them on the line so they can't call real people. The AI is programmed to deliver circular logic, forget information, and introduce baffling technical glitches, all designed to keep the scammers frustrated and completely occupied for hours or even days. While the scammer is stuck arguing with Kiboga's AI army, they are not calling your parents, your grandparents. By scaling his operation, Kiboga is single-handedly neutralizing thousands of potential scams.
So I'm glad I didn't say this one was a lie.
Well, that was just follow. I thought it was hilarious that at the end, after I prepped it, I legitimately came across this, and I was like, "This is him," and I'm like, "That's actually an ingenious idea. Keep the scammers from scamming because they're too busy being distracted by scammy AI pretending to be old, confused people." So there's your lesson. That's how we get payback in those scenarios. Oh, so funny. Okay, on that, thank you everybody for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the stories, Two Truths and a Lie, and learned something from it to take away. So go make sure your family has a safe word for when you if they call for money, or have a plan in action if somebody is to call, who they actually call, what the process is. Have that conversation so your grandma doesn't get scammed by the scammers that are not distracted by the AI robot scam. And then always read fine details when you're signing any type of documents. And you bring a listening device, it is always listening.
Unplug it before you have an argument.
Exactly. Especially if you don't want it to break your loop and send it to a relative to start some more shit. Okay, everyone, have a great night. We will be back. Oh, let me bring this back up because I'll bring up our times. We will be live once again. I lost my screen with it. I must have accidentally closed it. This is what happens on lives. Here it is. Yes, I did accidentally close it because it was in my face earlier and I must have just closed it. So again, we will be back same time, same place next week. We will be back for New Reel. Too Real here, 7 p.m. Eastern, same channel you're watching us on. Join us live to come and guess and learn a little bit with us. And we will also be live on Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, with our weekly YouTube University. Ask Us Anything. We teach you a little bit more about how to be successful and start to be seen, as well as answer your questions on air and live to assist you. With that, is there any other lasting comments for this evening, Mike, before we let everybody go?
Looking forward to next week, Sunday, 7 p.m. for another episode of Too Real, Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Well, you've been right 2 weeks in a row, so I'm gonna have to work even harder
Going
to
for
get
that
to
third.
stuff
Going
you
for that
next week.
third. Perfect.
Okay, have a great night, and we'll see you next week.